And if we couldn't do that with Jonathan Winters, could we do it with the next person? Drew Carey. The price is what? The price is right. Could we make room for Drew Carey and his bizarre sense of humor? And if not Drew Carey, how about the next person? Do you recognize her? Catherine Zeta-Jones. Would we welcome her in our church, or would we be beguiled by her beauty and her celebrity? What about the next person? Deb and I heard Jane Pauley speak in Westchester a few months ago. Wonderful woman. She began co-hosting the Today Show when she was, do you remember, 26 years old. Amazing. What about the next person? You remember him, Mike Wallace? He could be obnoxious at times, but he really knew how to ask good questions. And if not Mike Wallace, how about this person? Remember him? He won 4 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Terry Bradshaw, with his down-home country style, I tend to think he would fit in here. Would he fit in? Do you think he would fit in? And if Terry Bradshaw would fit in, how about this next fella? Would he fit in here at Red Clay? His name is Joseph Eddy. You don't know him. He was gregarious and outgoing. He would talk to anyone, any place, anytime. In the 1940s, he got fed up with his job and he quit on the spot. Threw down a shovel from some work he was doing and said, "I quit." Bam! He left. The next day, he showed up at a car lot. He told the owner, "I've come to sell cars." The owner says, "We don't have any jobs available." He says, "That's okay. I've come to sell cars." And later, he became the executive vice president of the corporation. Who shows up at a car lot and just starts selling cars? Can we make room for him in our church? Do you think we could do that? This fellow who enjoys talking to strangers. Can you imagine what he and I could do at Starbucks together? Maybe that's where I get it from. This is my grandfather, Joseph Eddy. I wish I had known him. Never met him. He took his own life when my mother was 15 years old. So many times I have longed to sit down with him and talk with him and ask, what was troubling you? What weighed you down? What was the darkness and despair that suffocated the joy and laughter of your life? Gosh, I want to hear from him. Compared to today, psychiatric treatment in the 1950s was very, very meager and very ineffective. But thankfully, the rest of these we've seen this morning. Nathan, let's look at them again. The rest of them, all of these have sought out treatment for severe mood disorder. Some of them have depression. Some of them had bipolar disorder. All of them. Could we make room for them? Could we be missional enough and stand on the margins of society to embrace them and accept them as they are? Can we help them despite the stigma that unfortunately still attaches itself to mental illness? My mother told me just the other day that when she was a little girl, her father was driving the family, his wife, my grandmother, older brother and older sister, to a funeral, and they went through a small town in South Carolina. He was going a bit too fast and was pulled over. He got out of the car and walked up to the patrolman, and they talked and talked and talked, laughed, and when he got back in the car, he had sold the patrolman the car that he was driving. Can we be a friend to those who have mental illness? Can we be a friend to their families?